Greetings, Goddess Body, Mind, Spirit community. This is your Goddess Guru, Tyra Omilade, here to share a word of inspiration with you on your path to self-realization and self-mastery. Today is December 20th, and this is your weekly roadmap for the week of December 23rd through December 29th. And I would like to start out by just thanking those of you who have joined me in Patreon as patrons, which is a new community that I've created for people who are wishing to work with me. There is actually a $5 level for people who love my content, want to support that, and want to be the first to see the content that I create. And all the other levels, $10, 15, 20, and 30, involve some level of divination. And you all know I've been sharing actually on YouTube since 2011. That blows my mind. That blows my mind. But I just so often get people saying, hey, I really want to work with you. And, this is my way of making that happen. So you'll be the first to get it, patrons. And so thank you to those who have become patrons. One of the things I do is give shout out. So shout out to Jamila, the latest patron in my Patreon community, patreon.com/goddess body mind spirit. And I'll just again shout out Veronica. So thank y'all. Y'all are the first two patrons that I have. So I appreciate you. So I'm sharing this one with everyone. So I hope that this helps you in this last little stretch of 2018 as we go into 2019, which is set to be a really interesting year, according to the astrologers who I listen to. But I tell you what, baby, 2018, it has delivered on interesting. This scorpionic energy has been crazy. So I just feel like it's important for us to make sure that we are living according to the cycles, that we are walking intentional. Of course, I talk about keys to self-mastery, and one of them is awareness. I cannot overstate the importance of awareness when you know what's going on. And that's what divination is about. It's about having that roadmap to make sure that you are operating with intention, or first with awareness and then with intention. You are intentionally choosing to do certain things. I love that I've been given this gift of divination because I feel like I'm able to help people stop staying on the hamster wheel, stop, going around in circles, only to then eventually find the straight and narrow, or never to find it. There's no reason for us to just continually live and never move forward, to live and feel like I don't know what to do. There is no reason for that. That's why we have divination. So I love weekly divination for myself because, again, it gives me something to think about, something to focus on, something to remind myself of when I'm feeling a little bit lost, because this world can just really make us get so distracted. So that's one of the powers of weekly divination. And so I will do for this Metuneta reading, which is my Egyptian or Kemetic oracle. I will also do the Mayan oracle. I love the Mayan oracle. It's just a beautiful oracle. So I will give you wisdom from the Mayan oracle, and I will also look at the lunar phases, and also we're going to talk about the waning moon. Okay. So as we enter into the 23rd, that's a time where we're coming off of the solstice. We're coming off of the full moon, which I made a video about the full moon in Cancer. So please make sure that you watch that video also, because it really sets the tone for so much that is to come. It sets the tone for this winter. Okay. Um, and so what happens after the full moon is the waning moon. And with the waning moon, we're looking at what do we need to let go of? What do we need to release? So it's about a 2-week period. The next full moon will be, the new moon will be January the 5th. And actually, I think that's a moon with an eclipse. I think it's a solar eclipse. So again, it's even more important for us to operate with intentionality, to be aware of what is to come, so that, because eclipse energy is about fated events. And if you think about an eclipse, it eclipses something. You think you're going in one direction, you end up going in a totally different direction. An eclipse can change the trajectory of your life. And so this eclipse it's in Capricorn. It's happening in Capricorn. So that means that it's going to be affecting people who are Cancerian and Capricorn, because those are on the same axis. They're 180 degrees away from each other on the astrology wheel. And so, yeah, if you are a Cancerian or a Capricorn, you might need to buckle in. and I subscribe to rising, moon, or sun sign. Okay. So if you have any of those as Cancer or Capricorn, rising, moon, or sun, then yeah, that could apply to you, especially rising. If you have a lot of planets in Capricorn or a lot of planets in Cancer, then you might feel it even more, because where you have a lot of planets, it's a lot of energy. So yeah, and even still, there's a lunar eclipse. I think is the second one in Leo and Aquarius, on the Leo Aquarius axis. So that's in the middle part of January. So of course, in the monthly videos for the patrons, I will address that for you all. But it's all about laying the foundation leading up to that time. Okay. And so as we approach the new moon this week, what we're wanting to do is to make sure that we begin to look at what do we need to let go of. We're in the season of Capricorn. And so it's time for us to get real. Capricorn is get real energy. It's get real time. Okay. It's like, put your nose to the grindstone. Where do you need to get strict in your life? Get some discipline in your life. Another thing to think about with Capricorn is cycles. It's the same energy as Sekert. And I will talk about this in the monthly video, because the energy governing the month of January, this blows my mind, is Sekert. And so with the energy of, Saturn and Sekert, Capricorn, it's looking at time. It's looking at cycles. And, you might want to be looking at, is this really the time for you to be working on A, B, C, D, whatever you're working on? Is this really that time? Or is there something else do you need to let go of that and pick something else up? Now, let me tell you the other thing about Capricorn. I relate Capricorn to Oya. And Oya is the kind of energy that is like, transformation. Oya is like, when it's time to let something go, I will whisper it to you. If you don't listen to the whisper, I will send a stronger breeze, some wind. And then Oya just come through and Oya will not let us fail, even if Oya has to rip everything from us. So my thing is, and I remember my husband preached something one time that I love bringing up. The way I summarized what he said was basically prune yourself or be pruned. So the waning moon time is a time for us to really think about, dang, what do I really need to let go of? And life shows us it's not hard to figure out what we need to let go of. So, and it's the season of Capricorn, it's the season of Sekert, and it's like, y'all, you really and truly need to be thinking about what needs to be reset, what needs to be let go of, what needs to be released. And so this week is the beginning of that. Okay. So the energy surrounding the week of December 23rd through the 29th, and this is from the Metanetter, is Ma'at negative and or Ser negative. So negative means that we may be facing challenges. We may have a problem seeing the big picture. We may not. We may be so distracted, or um, we may be so just sort of like wanting to stay where we are, that we can't see the bigger picture. If we go on ahead and let this thing go, if we go on ahead and make the changes that we need to make, we are in fact going to get what we really want. Instead, we're holding on to a piece of a thing when we could have the whole thing, but we can't see the big picture. And so how do we choose to see the big picture? Sometimes we may need to talk to other people. Sometimes something that's been sobering for me is to go back and look at my posts, my journals, things that I was talking about a year ago. I'll never forget one time I looked through a journal and saw that what I wrote 3, 4 years ago was the same thing I was writing, little whining and crying. See, Capricorn is not the time for that. Capricorn is like, I take no excuses, payments, payments, payments. No whining, no complaining. So, my aunt, something that could be blocking us from seeing the big picture is our inability to forgive. This is something that is crucial when my aunt speaks. It's important for you to forgive. And forgiveness is related to what is my storyline. So the more I think of someone did something to me, instead of why did I invite this into my life? And so if I'm asking, why did I invite this into my life? It gives me an opportunity to examine what the lesson is, to learn from it and move on. I don't have to sit around with this victimization, this victim story. Um, and this all relates to knowing the truth of who and what you are. Some of you who look at this may have readings where I've talked to you about why you're here, the challenges that you may face, the destiny that you're here for. And when you know why you're here, then you can begin to see, this is what my eye says, you can begin to look at all the small different parts and see how they contribute to the whole. We give thanks to the things that make us feel warm and fuzzy, and we give thanks for the things that just make us feel warm or make us cry or feel bad. So it's just important for us to, y'all, really see the big picture and to put it all in perspective. It's time to change our storyline. Or Sarah says it's time to live authentically. Are you living a storyline that the world told you need to live? Or are you living an authentic storyline that is coming from within you? So, it's really important for us um, to get quiet and to get clear. Oh, another thing is to know, because Ma'at is the law. Live according to the divine laws. And maybe this is something I need to write a note to myself on. Review laws of the universe. So when you know the laws of the universe and you can operate according to them. So I did a reading for this week or last week, a week before, and it was talking about Sebek. It was Sebek energy, and it was talking about the mind and how we have to use affirmations. We have to speak positivity. We have to speak what we want into our lives. See, this is universal law. The other thing that we have to realize during a waning time, during a time of death and rebirth, it's time for us to look at how has the truth been suppressed, and like we have this veil over our eyes and we can't see it. We're blind to it. But once we begin to awaken ourselves to the higher laws of the universe, and we have to make this choice to live like this, y'all. We choose to live awake or we choose to live sleeping. Trust me, the spiritual journey is one that's regulated by us, because it does not have to be hard. It can be easy. I'm one that has chosen sometimes the hard path. So once we begin to allow ourselves to open our eyes and really see what the truth is. So sometimes the truth is seeing the bigger picture, like this is why this happened. This is why this person perhaps did this to me. This is why I experienced this. And sometimes what you're wanting to see as the truth is like, what is the law that's in effect? How am I using this law? Because we're using them, but we're not awake in how we use them. So if we're walking and thinking about how we're using them, if I know that one of the laws of the universe is what I think about, what I speak about, what I feel about is what I bring about, then during this time, I need to be looking at that and doing everything I can to excavate and wake myself up to that. And so some of the things that we can do when we're working with this energy of Ma'at, when we're working with this energy of Orser, is we can do detoxes. One of the best things we can do is to start in the body. And I know some of y'all are real good with starting in the body, so we might have to go next level for you with the mind or the emotions. But when we start with the body, a lot of times it can shake stagnant energies up within us so that we can actually be free and open to experiencing whatever or seeing whatever, excavating that which is asleep. A lot of times when we're watching anthropologists do what they do, people at these excavation sites, they're not like, well, let's just see if it rises to the top. No, what are they doing? They're digging, they're scraping, they have all kinds of tools that they're using. So, we need to be doing our spiritual practices day in and day out. You wake up, and if you go to the main page for my channel on YouTube, the video that I have up that I think is one of the best videos that I've ever made, it was like some of the best wisdom that ever came to me, is the must do ritual principle. What must you do day in and day out every day? It's no different from saying I must brush my teeth and take a shower every day. What are your must do rituals? Because those are your excavation tools that you need to use to like really get yourself awakened to what are you asleep to in your life? What law are you just sort of like using, but you don't know that you're using it? You're not awake to it. So, what truth do you need to awaken to? What truth do you need to excavate? Spiritual work is not all the time fun, but I tell you what, it pays big dividends. And that's another thing about this energy of Ma'at and Orser. You work and do all that I'm sharing with you, then you will find, she's called Lady Luck, so it's like just big fortune when you're living according to the laws of the universe, when you are living according to truth, when you are opting to radically forgive people. So y'all read Radical Forgiveness on my website, goddessbodymindspirit.com. I even have a section on forgiveness where I talk about radical forgiveness, which is an actual book that I found and I've used the process. But yeah, so, and then the other thing that happens when we're using our tools to excavate ourselves is we have more abundance. But next week, we may find that we're closed off to hearing the higher wisdom. This is the energy of Keep from the Mayan oracle that spoke. We may not be listening. We may be distracted. We may be pissed off at people. We may be just living a lie. and and we can't access what we want. We're going to find ourselves more and more challenged and feeling like we're getting what we want. I do encourage you to, well, another thing before I talk about the goddess is my eye is about balance. So something else that you can look at in your life is to determine, where do you lack balance? So we can always work with this energy of my eye by, one way would be to be more balanced in our lives. So what we seek is equilibrium. And what we want to do is, though I might have to spend a lot of time. So, like right now, I'm spending quite a bit of time creating videos for you all, or um, doing readings for people. I've gotten quite a few readings here lately. But I'm balanced, or I'm creating equilibrium with, I'm forcing myself to stop at times and go jump on my mini trampoline, or go do something for my family to take care of my family. So we have to create equilibrium. We may have to hyper focus for a good long while. Our energy is hyper focused, but then we shift it. I can't just stay working on one thing day in and day out, day in and day out, and then just let the rest of my life crumble. To me, that's more of like what balance is about. But maybe you need more balance in your relationships. Are you in imbalanced relationships? Are you giving too much? Are you taking too much? um, when it comes to, like we talked about, work, sometimes we're even in balance with our children. We give our children too much, or we are not paying enough attention to our children. We need to make sure that we have balance with our families, with our spouses, our significant others, that whole family relationship piece. This is something that needs balance. We also need to make sure that we have balance in our relationship with ourselves. How many of us spend time with ourselves? This is next week. Another thing that would be really good, or this week, I should say, another thing that would be really good is finding quiet time to chant, to meditate. So even if your meditation is you go out on a walk, you're not listening to anything, you're maybe on a greenway somewhere and you're just listening to nature. Maybe you're sitting at home and you turn on some relaxing sounds to help you just sort of like, because sometimes it's okay to have sound on to distract the part of our brain that's like, girl, dude, you cannot sit here in this quiet. This will drive you crazy. So it's okay if we have to turn on guided meditations, all that kind of good stuff. At some point, we get trained to the point where we really can sit in the quiet. And sitting in meditation won't drive us crazy. But yeah, so doing all of that is really, really beneficial. So the other thing is, I do know that this would be a good time to work with the energy of Oya, who is about letting go and releasing, burning frankincense and myrrh. If you like the oil, put it on your body. Smudging, which we probably should smudge on a regular basis anyway, but definitely do some smudging to really try to energetically clear yourself, to get other people's energy out of your energetic body. I do think that too, especially coming off this full moon, if you need to cry, do some crying to release, use those cleansing tears to let things go. Anything you can do to move the body to sort of release. If you want to, do a colon cleanse, that would be good. It's all about release and let go. Um, Again, breath work is always called for when we're working with Oya, because her energy is the wind. If you're someplace where there's wind, go outside and take a wind bath. Stand out in the wind and just let it hit you. So yeah, Oya is like purple, dark colors. You can wear some purple. I also think if you could do some kickboxing, I see Oya as a warrior's energy. So definitely doing some kickboxing or martial arts, if you take martial arts, would be good too. So that's what I think I want to give y'all for that. Um, and it's all about tapping the power within. That's really what we want to do. That's what I love about Capricorn. Capricorn really is about operating from your power. So, do some chanting if you want to, find a chant to turn on. They're chants for different reasons. So sometimes you could just do a basic chant and it just sort of helps to get you in tune. Another thing that I would recommend in terms of the breath work would be the alternate nostril breathing. That's really good for creating balance. Um, so on the 23rd, the moon is still in Cancer. So that's a good time for us to really, apply things that nurture ourselves as well as releasing emotion, clearing up problematic emotions, looking at emotions that do not serve you, that need to be released. But it's also a time where you may want to work on your home. You may want to spend some time with family still. Do nurturing things for yourself, for other people. Oh, the other thing that I'll say, one more thing about my eye is sometimes when we feel out of balance, if we can't really see what we can't be really awake to it, I would recommend that you go do something kind for someone else. Now, don't be doing too much, keep it in balance. But that's something that I would recommend also when working with my aunt, because she's very giving. She gives energy. I guess that's why forgiveness is a part of what is indicated for her. On the 24th, the moon is in Leo. And so that's a day of inspiration. That's a day where we may feel like we want to do something special for children, where we want to tap into things that inspire us, be creative. It's really feel good energy. It's hot, fiery energy. So we may find that we have, good energy that day. When the moon is in Cancer, if you really feel like you need to tap into the energy of Cancer, you can put on pink, soft colors, but definitely pink. For Leo, you could put on something like orange. I even will put on red for Leo. Yellow, like the sun, bright, energetic colors. On the 26th, the moon is in Virgo. So if any of y'all out there still celebrating Christmas, Virgo on the 26th is a very good thing because we will have indulged on the 25th. Um, and so on the 26th, we need Virgo. Virgo is like, okay, y'all, we're about to get this health routine together. And it's time for us to like fast, don't eat anything. Also, you may feel sort of like you want to get some things done. You may have felt like, oh, I've just been indulging so much. So I just want to get some stuff done today. So that's the 26th in Virgo. I really love Virgo energy because I get so much done. It may even be a time where that will be a good day to come up with a to-do list. Okay. So it could be for the next few days, for the next week, maybe even, over an extended period, but you're going to feel your mind on point with Virgo. Now, I will say, y'all, I haven't gotten to that point where I do all the aspects of the planets aspect and stuff. As I get more adept in astrology, I shall tell you, because sometimes it may be the moon in Virgo might be negatively aspected by Saturn, or let's say negatively aspected by Jupiter or something. I don't know. And it doesn't all the time work out that way. But in general, I find these lunar cycles to be pretty on point no matter what's aspecting it. Okay, so on the 28th of December, the moon is in Libra, which it goes back to talking about balance. We want things to be in balance. We might be looking at, making sure our family is in balance. Everybody is sort of like, okay, is everybody taken care of? It's also a time for us to look at relationships more. Um, so that's something that's important at that time. Um, you might just feel like your mind is on relationships of different kinds. Typically, it's sort of a little bit like important relationships, but I just say relationships in general. If you have any legal stuff going on, I don't even know what day that is, but around that time, you may have some insights. This is also the energy of contracts. So contracts may come up. This is a good day, maybe even to look at a contract. If you're sitting on a contract, this might would be a good day to really look at the contract to see, like, really, does this look like something I want to do? It also could be a day where you feel a little artsy, because Libra energy is actually very artsy, refined, and some of it depends on where it's in your chart. So this is general. Um, so that's what I have for you on that. So yeah, y'all, that's this week. I hope that this wisdom will help to lead, guide, and direct you all. If I'm just being 100, I'm still creating the structure for these readings. So, hopefully I've given you everything you need in this reading, but um, I'm looking to see exactly how do I structure this so that it's exceedingly efficient, but definitely rich for you all. Thank you all so much, and I appreciate you. Since this video is for everyone, I just again invite you to at least go look at my Patreon page and see if it's something that you might be interested in. I consider myself to be a guide, and I take it as a high honor to be in this, to be in this position to be able to share what comes to me. So thank you all so much. Patreon.com /goddessbodymindspirit.com. If you need a reading, goddessbodymindspirit.com. You can go there, go to the spiritual reading page. And I just wish you all a great week. I mean, y'all, we're about to say bye-bye to 2018. Make it a good ending. You can do this. Even if crappy stuff shows up, you can make it what you want it to be. This is your goddess guru, Tyra Omilade. Have a good week. Peace.